All right, news break coming in. The Supreme Court having dismissed petition that challenged a committee being set up in states of Gujarat, Uttarakhand for Uniform Civil Code. The bench led by CJI Chandrachud said that, in fact, he questioned what is wrong in committee constituted under Article 162. A big jolt for the lobby there as a plea opposing setting up of Uniform Civil Code has now been dismissed by the top court. So the apex court there having dismissed the petition that challenged the committees that have been set up in states including Gujarat, Uttarakhand as well for the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. So the Supreme Court there dismissing petition that challenged committee set up in states of Gujarat, Uttarakhand for the Uniform Civil Code. The bench led by CJI Chandrachud said that, in fact, questioned what is wrong in the committee that has been constituted under Article 162. The plea that was filed in the top court opposed the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code by states, calling it unconstitutional. So this plea that challenged the committee that has been formed in several states, in fact in states of Gujarat and Uttarakhand, the plea called the formation of this committee unconstitutional. Now the Supreme Court has dismissed the plea that was filed. So a big setback coming in for the anti-UCC lobby, as the plea that challenged the setting up of committees in Gujarat and Uttarakhand has now been dismissed by the top court. So the Supreme Court, they're refusing to admit the plea that questioned the formation of the Uniform Civil Code committees in the states of Gujarat and Uttarakhand. In fact, it was Chandrachud, the CJI, said that, in fact, question what is wrong in the committee that has been constituted under Article 162 of the Constitution. Remember, committees have been formed in Gujarat and Uttarakhand as well for the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. So a big jolt coming there of sorts for the anti-UCC lobby, as the court has outrightly dismissed the plea that questioned the formation of the panel in relation to the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. We'll try and get few reactions as well, but a big jolt and a setback of sorts coming in for the anti-Uniform Civil Code lobby, as the plea that challenged setting up of the UCC has now been dismissed by the top court. All right, we also have Sambhav joining us, tracking the updates from the court closely. Sambhav, if you can take us precisely the details of the plea that was filed in the top court, which has now been dismissed by the apex court. Sambhav, if you can hear us, if you can give us more details of the plea in the first place that was filed in the, in fact, the court having said that it will not be admitting that plea that challenged the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code in states of Gujarat and Uttarakhand. All right, first up, we are being joined by senior advocate Swapnil Kothari. Sir, your first thoughts on the Supreme Court having dismissed the plea that challenged the formation of the committee in relation to the Uniform Civil Code implementation?
There's nothing wrong in the committee being set up under Article 162 of the Constitution, because that is the extent of the executive power of the state, subject to the provisions of the Constitution, to matters relating to the legislature, that is to make laws, to form committees, etc. So there's nothing wrong in that. If the committees have been formed to decide upon the Uniform Civil Code as to go ahead, which is a promise of Article 44 of the Constitution, which is the directive principle of state policy, then there is nothing unconstitutional about it, so as to say. So in furtherance of that objective, if a committee has been formed under Article 162 by respective or by certain states, which the state is empowered to do by virtue of the Constitution, by virtue of Article 162, then the Supreme Court has clearly cracked down the whip and dismissed the petition which was challenging this committee, because it's realized that these petitions were possibly from a lobby which did not want the Uniform Civil Code to come into place. So I believe this is a very, very appropriate judgment, and it paves the way for the Uniform Civil Code, or at least, should I say, a movement to go ahead with the Uniform Civil Code. And the more the states join the bandwagon, the better it is.
Yes. Stay with us. Just a follow-up question. If you can, for our viewers also who are tuning in, who would want to know more about the Uniform Civil Code, if you can talk to us how there has been a growing chorus for that one law for the country, and what exactly do you think would be the issues that the petitioner in this case had when it comes to implementation of the Uniform Civil Code in the states?
Well, I believe the issue that the petitioner must have had is he must be thinking, if it is a genuine petition, then it must be with a view that, we really don't want this. The laws are absolutely in place. They are fine. This has a tendency to then create further, disparity between the two religions, between Hindus and the Muslims, etc., or anything of that sort. If it is a genuine one. If it is not a genuine one, if it's a frivolous one, it's just to try to put a spoke into the wheel into what the government is doing, and it's a good job that the government is trying to do. If you remember, there was a lot of outrage even at the, abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution, which gave Kashmir, which brought Kashmir within our fold. So likewise, people have these apprehensions, and the abrogation of Article 370, the outrage against that was more political than anything else. So likewise, this petition could also have been political. One doesn't know the nature of it. Be that as it may, the fact is that it has been dismissed is what is most important. And why there has to be a Uniform Civil Code? We have one criminal code, right, which is the Indian Penal Code, that everybody, regardless of their caste, creed, or religion, whoever indulges in offences or crimes, they'll be punished as per the law. So what is wrong in the Uniform Civil Code? What is wrong in having one civil law? If there is one criminal law for everybody, why there has to be a disparity in that? Too many interpretations, so many different laws create too much of problems and create a floodgate of litigation. So one can try to avoid that and try to make a country more harmonious and go ahead in furtherance of the secular promise of the preamble of our Constitution, because the preamble says that we are a secular republic. So that secular word is very important. And that's the reason why you need a civil code, a uniform civil code. You can't have different laws for different religions. It's too cumbersome. It only makes money for us lawyers.
All right, thank you for putting that into perspective for us. And as Swapnil Kothari was telling us, secular is the key word here, and which is why precisely the need of the hour is the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. We have Sambhav also joining us. Sambhav, if you can once again put this into perspective for us, what exactly was that issue that the petitioner had when it comes to that committee that has been formed on the implementation of Uniform Civil Code, which the Supreme Court has made it absolutely clear has been formed under Article 162 of the Constitution?
Yes. So this petition has been mentioned in the Supreme Court, in the court number 1, in front of Chief Justice of India today, in which it was told, as per the petitioner, that the Uniform Civil Code by the states is unconstitutional in a way. And to which CJI D.Y. Chandrachud has very categorically said that the committees have been formed by different states, and what is wrong in it, as it is constituted under Article 162 of Indian Constitution, and to which the petitioner failed to give a better answer to the court, and later on the court has very categorically said either you withdraw the petition or we are going to dismiss it. So finally, Supreme Apex Court has dismissed the petition challenging committees set up in states of Gujarat, Uttarakhand over the Uniform Civil Code. That's all happened in the court number 1 today in the Supreme Court.
All right, Sambhav, thank you for those details. In fact, just to read out what the CJI had to say, he said, in fact, question what is wrong with the formation of the panel on the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, going on to say that they have only constituted a committee under the executive powers that Article 162 gives. Not just this, the constitution of committees set up by Gujarat and Uttarakhand to frame UCC is challenged. Article 162 indicates that executive power of states extends to what legislature permits it to do, and that the constitution of the committee cannot be challenged as ultra-vires dismissed. So the Supreme Court there, having dismissed the plea that was filed, opposing the formation of the panel when it comes to implementation of the Uniform Civil Code in the states of Gujarat and Uttarakhand. So a big setback coming in for the anti-UCC lobby, as the Supreme Court has outrightly dismissed that plea that was filed in relation to the panel on the Uniform Civil Code. Supreme Court there making it absolutely clear that Article 162 gives executive powers and that there is no merit in opposing state UCC panels. So Supreme Court there making it very clear, the CJI making it very clear that there is no merit when it comes to opposing the state-formed UCC panels, and that Article 162 gives executive powers to the state.